I'm Elizabeth Helderbrand. I'm an admissions counselor here at Ohio State ATI. I'll let the other panelist introduce herself as well.
Hi guys, my name is Ella Lawrence and I'm also one of the admissions counselors at Ohio State ATI. As I was chatting with one of the individuals who's on here today, I cover a couple of counties here in Ohio, Wayne County and Holmes County, and then I also work with our out-of-state students.
And I travel in the southern part and central part of Ohio. So we have several admissions counselors in our office, and each of them kind of divide the state in different parcels. And I have that southern and central part, and Jill covers Northeast Ohio, and Abby, she covers Northwest Ohio, and then Ella has that local travel as well as covering those out-of-state students. So we're excited to get started here and to start diving into the next part of this virtual overview.
So before I get started and talk a little bit more about ATI, I just want to also let you know that we're happy that you guys were able to chat with us, and Liz and I want to make sure that we make this as interactive as possible. So throughout this, there will be times that we're asking you some questions. And then we're also going to put a link in the chat box, and that link is going to send you to one of our websites, and on the website it will have a document for you to fill out if you want some additional information sent to you. If you do fill that link out for us today, we are going to enter you in to get some free Ohio State swag. So I definitely would encourage you to fill that out once you're done listening to us with our overview today. But without further ado, so Ohio State ATI is located in Worcester, Ohio, which is kind of like halfway between Cleveland and Columbus. And we are one of the campuses of CFAES. Has anybody ever heard of CFAES, or can you tell me what CFAES stands for in the chat box? It's your first trick question of the day. That's okay, Andrea. I know CFAES, that's a long string of letters, but CFAES is the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. So that is a college that Ohio State ATI is directly a part of. And we have one campus down in Columbus, and then the Worcester campus, or Ohio State ATI, is the second one. So we are two campuses, but one college. And with that one college, we have a lot of different majors revolving around agriculture, revolving around environment and natural resources. The thing about Ohio State ATI that sets us apart from the Columbus campus is that we're a lot smaller. So we only have about 600 students on our campus, and there are about 30 different programs that students will study, and Liz is going to talk to you guys about that here in just a little bit. However, a lot of our students will choose to come to Ohio State ATI simply because we are of a smaller scale. We offer a lot of different hands-on activities for our students to learn, and just the overall value. So these are some things that we're definitely going to hit on today throughout this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat in the box, and we will be able to help answer those questions as we go along. So Liz, do you want to talk to them a little bit more about some of the majors?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two different types of programs that we have here at Ohio State ATI. So before I start diving into the majors, I want to talk about the difference between those programs. So we have what we call the Associate of Applied Science, and the Associate of Applied Science programs are what we call our two-year technical degrees. They're 2 years here at Ohio State ATI, and hopefully we get you out to a career after those 2 years. So basically those are very much hands-on opportunities. So you're going to spend a lot of time outside of the classroom within our facilities getting hands-on experiences that are going to be applicable to the career that you're pursuing. On the other side of that, we have that Associate of Science. Those are also 2-year programs, but they are transition programs. So they transition onto the Columbus campus so that you can finish off a bachelor's degree. Personally, I did that one myself. I started at Ohio State ATI. I did my 2 years, and then I transitioned to Columbus to finish off that bachelor's degree. I will point out that you're only required to be here on our campus in Worcester for 30 credit hours and maintaining a 2.0 GPA, and then you can transition onto the Columbus campus to finish off that bachelor's degree. So that program is going to be a lot more general education courses and getting your basics before going on to the Columbus campus. And then we also have certificate programs. So we have a couple 1-year programs that are just very much towards getting you out to that career and getting you a skill to help you be marketable out in the industry. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. So here are the different types of programs that we have. We have that Associate of Applied Science. Some of those programs will be like the horse production and management, livestock production and management, the dairy cattle production and management. We also have programs within the horticultural areas, so landscape horticulture, floral design and marketing. We also have the turf grass program, and then we also have programs that are very much geared towards like a specific industry like power equipment, and then the hydraulic power and motion control. The Associate of Science, those are programs that are also offered on the Columbus campus. So your agribusiness and applied economics, agricultural communication, agricultural systems management. You have some of that agri-science education if you want to be an ag teacher. We also have that environmental, natural resources, animal sciences. With that, you can either have a specific specialization in the swine, the beef cattle industry, or small ruminants, or you also have that option to be like animal health, which would be a pre-vet pathway so that you could apply to veterinarian school after you're done with your undergraduate program. And then the 3 certificate programs we have is bioenergy, hydraulic service and repair, and then the turf grass equipment manager. So Allison did throw up that survey that you can go to in that link. And when you're filling that out, be sure to indicate an interest that you have in one of these majors so that we can send you more information in the mail so that you can get very specific information about those programs. Okay. Any questions so far? Here we go.
Andrea, you do have a question for us, or? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, the brochure says animal sciences, animal health.
Yeah.
Good question.
Mm-hmm. So yes, biochemical science, yep. Biochemical science is another pre-vet option that you can have as well. The difference between those, biochemical science is going to be very much lab-based and getting a lot of your like chemistry and your higher level science and math done, while the animal science, animal health gives you a good combination and gets you some exposure to some of those larger animals like cattle, sheep, goats, hogs, so getting you some experience with that area as an animal science major. So you will be spending out some time out at the labs and the facilities in the animal science area. So basically you just need to ask yourself which one is better for you and better suited. So are you someone who just wants to get a lot of your science and math and all of that done? Or are you someone that probably would benefit from having some hands-on experiences with animals before going on to vet school?
So that's a really good question that rolls directly into this next slide. This next slide talks a little bit more about internships and some of the practical experiences that a lot of our students at Ohio State ATI are able to get. We do have a 1,700-acre farm on campus, and at the farm there's a beef handling facility, there's a swine unit, a dairy unit, there's also a equine facility, and then we also have a couple hundred acres of tillable ground if you're interested in going into agronomy or crops and soils. So typically I always tell students that Tuesdays and Thursdays are lab days. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that you will definitely be out of the classroom and you will be learning hands-on. So I know that the majority of you guys on here had mentioned that you were interested in animal sciences, which is really why I wanted to point that out. But in addition to that, we also have a greenhouse complex on campus. We also have a golf course. There's also a couple of different like fluid and power equipment labs that our students are learning hands-on with. In addition, our students are required to have an internship before they graduate. And one thing about our internships that is different than some other schools is that we also require our internships and our students getting internships to be paid for those. So we want you to start reaping the benefits of being in the agricultural industry to show what you would be able to be getting out of that. I know right now we have one of our student ambassadors who works in our admissions office, and she's actually has an internship out in, I believe it is Illinois. Is that right, Liz?
Yeah, Illinois.
She is going out to John Deere this summer, hopefully, knock on wood, to have an internship with John Deere. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be with the marketing department. She was able to land that just through some of her leadership experiences that she did at Ohio State ATI. You can get an internship close to home. You can get it out of state. Honestly, whatever you are interested in, that is something that is very specific to you and what you want to broaden your learning experiences with.
Mm-hmm. And I also 100% agree with getting internships and experiences, because the beauty of an internship, it helps you get exposure to an industry and you can see what you like and what you dislike. And the great thing about internships is they're not forever. So if you turn out not loving what you were doing, it's an easy, you're done after probably 8-12 weeks and then you go back to school. So, you get a little, hands in and get to see what that experience is like. So it's kind of a really great benefit for students to get that experience.
And then on the next slide, we're going to talk about some of the different learning techniques that we also, pictures. I thought the next slide was. So this just shows a lot of our different labs. So just talking a little bit more about what our students do. For those of you who are in the animal science world, you will also have some practicums that you'll have to work on during the school year. So for example, if you are going into beef or if you are going into dairy, you will be partnered up with a couple other students who are in that same major, and you will be doing your practicum for maybe up to a week. So that means you'll be out at the barns. You'll be helping with chores. If there are any medications that need administered, like you will be helping out with that with the help of some of our staff members that are out at the farm. If you decide to go into the dairy industry, there's also some different opportunities for you to help with milking. If you go into the equine industry, right now is technically foaling season, and our students, before they went virtual, they were out at the barn, honestly sitting, waiting until those foals were born, because we had a couple of them coming pretty fast and furious. And when Liz and I were out at the barn last time, there was actually a racing foal that was born just the day before. So we were pretty excited to be able to see that. So those are just some examples of what students would be doing in their practicums throughout the school year. Andrea, unfortunately, we don't have a small animal hospital on our campus at Ohio State ATI, but since you do want to ultimately be a veterinarian someday, you will spend your first 2 years at Ohio State ATI, and then you can transition to Columbus and finish your last 2 years there. So there's always the opportunity for you to actually go over and do some job shadowing, maybe get a job as a student worker at the animal hospital. So there are lots of different opportunities for you to go ahead and put that on your resume. In addition, you can also look for a vet locally to follow in Worcester or in any of the surrounding areas of Wayne, Holmes, or Medina counties while you're at school here at Ohio State ATI. So
just to reiterate, the question that we had was whether we had a small animal hospital on our campus. So for those who are kind of wondering what the question was, we do not currently, have that on our campus, but the Columbus campus does have a full-fledged vet hospital on that campus.
Thanks, Liz. Sorry. In addition to some of the facilities that we have, there's a couple of new innovative learning techniques and technologies that we have for all of our students coming in. So as an incoming freshman, you will receive an iPad. The iPad is free for you to use, and if you graduate, it is yours to keep. So the iPad will be ready for you with a lot of different apps or Ohio State apps. It will be used in the classroom, and in addition, a lot of our student ambassadors have actually been downloading some of their textbooks rather than purchasing them so that they don't have to carry their textbooks with them from class to class. We also have a new science facility that's being built, so that will house some of your labs that you will have in person. And then there's also a new beef facility, and the beef facility, I just learned in a meeting yesterday, should be complete by May. So you definitely will be able to have access to that starting this fall.
All right, so now we're going to start talking about campus housing. So raise your hand. So there is an option within the webinar format. If you want to raise your hand and let us know if you're excited to move away from home or to get away from your parents or whatnot. Are you guys excited to, like hands being raised, several being raised. We're excited for you guys to come to Ohio State ATI and live on our campus. So what we have on our campus is called Applewood Village. We have semi-furnished apartments within, our Applewood Village. There's a 2-bedroom as well as a 3-bedroom and a 1-bedroom apartment on our campus. They have access to laundry, which another really cool part of living on campus is that you have free laundry, which is really cool. We like free things when we're a college student, right? We also have Wi-Fi on our housing as well. And then the other cool part is parking is free at our campus too. So you don't have to purchase a parking pass to be on our campus in Worcester. And then something else that's really cool to point out is that your meal plans are completely optional on the Worcester campus. So if you didn't want to purchase a meal plan, that is completely up to you. We do have Cafe Carmen on our campus. So we do have a dining services located on the Worcester campus. It's open from 7:30 to 3:30. And we have 2 different types of meal plans, Carmen 1 and Carmen 2. Basically, I always say if you're going to get Carmen 1, that's probably means that you're going to eat 1 time a day on campus. If you're going to go for Carmen 2, that means that you're going to eat on campus twice a day. So you're going to want the full fixings for breakfast and lunch. Okay. And then for those students that may be close to campus or live within a 25-mile radius, you do have the option to commute. So all first-year students who do not live within that 25-mile radius would be required to live on campus. But if you're a local student, you'll have to fill out an exemption form to be able to live off campus with a relative, okay? Any questions so far on that? Okay. So this is just a quick photo of what our housing looks like. So they are semi-furnished. So they come with bedrooms, a dining room table, a stove, a fridge. Some of the items that you would have to bring would be like a couch or like a recliner, a TV, a microwave, dishes and things like that to put into your cabinets within the kitchen. But they're pretty nice apartments for our students, and that's really cool because typically when you go to college you do have dorms rather than apartments, but here at the Worcester campus we have these really nice apartments for our students to live in. So as far as just campus life, we're going to start talking about what it's like to be a student on our campus. And so these are just some fun photos. We talked about the laundry. We obviously have the laundry facilities. We have just different things that you can do on campus and start networking and meeting people on our campus in Worcester.
So do me a favor, in the chat box, go ahead and type in some of the different clubs and activities that you're in. So maybe you are in 4-H, maybe you're in FFA, Maybe you participate in some different sports, or maybe you have some religious affiliations. You can go ahead and put that in the chat box just so that we can get an idea of some of the different things that you're involved in currently. Because I have a feeling that a lot of the things, okay, some of you are starting to roll in. I have a feeling that a lot of the things that you're involved in right now are things that you will find on a college campus like Ohio State ATI. So we do have a wide variety of different clubs and organizations, including a collegiate FFA and a collegiate 4-H chapter. We also have a couple of other clubs that are directly related to some of the different majors that we have on campus. So I know that there are a couple of you who are interested in becoming veterinarians. We do have a pre-vet club that you can also participate in. The Student Activity Center is open for all of our students, and it is free for you to use. We do offer intramurals. We also have a workout center. There are some racquetball courts, but then there's also a student lounge up there with a large TV, a ping pong table, some comfy chairs, that sort of thing. In addition to some of the activities that go on our campus, we also offer some study abroad programs. So you can participate in those. Maybe it's going to be a week long during spring break. It might be 4 or 5 weeks, so it might take up an entire semester, or it might happen during the summer. So it's completely up to you, and there are a lot of different options because, again, like I told you in the beginning of this presentation, we are affiliated with the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. So if you don't see a specific study abroad on our campus, it's likely that you can participate on any of the study abroad programs that are happening on the Columbus campus as well. We do have our own police officers that patrol not only the academic buildings, but they also will patrol out through the Applewood Village. And then they're also going out to some of our farms. So you will be able to see them making their rounds, and it just makes it a pretty safe campus. I know a lot of our students actually know our officers by their first names, so it is a really nice thing because you can just walk up to them and be like, oh, hey, Chad, like, what's going on? It's a very good relationship that we have with our campus safety. In addition, the city of Worcester is just down the hill from us. So there's 2 different ends to Worcester. We have the north end of town, which has a lot of the stores and restaurants that you're probably used to around home. And then downtown Worcester has a variety of different mom and pop stores. I know I'm personally obsessed with our new taco restaurant in downtown Worcester, which they have Taco Tuesday. So you can build your own tacos for $2. And I know that a lot of our ambassadors have really started to enjoy that as well. So it's just a really fun atmosphere. There is an additional college in Worcester, so it is definitely your typical college town.
Something else that I just want to point out is that Ohio State's ATI and the Worcester campus, we are a part of a larger campus in Worcester. We have the Ohio Agricultural Research and Development Center, which is located right next to us. And so we are actually becoming one campus as a whole. And you'll have some exposure to maybe some of those graduate students, and potentially there are campus jobs that you can have on the other side, and doing research and assisting with some of the lab work that some of the graduate and professional researchers are doing over on the OARDC side of campus, which is really cool. And it just kind of makes us part of a bigger picture that's occurring on the Worcester campus, which is really a neat piece of our campus.
So when you graduate from Ohio State ATI, if you choose to do that after 2 years, or if you choose to go to the Columbus campus and finish your last 2 years to get your bachelor's degree, your diploma is still going to say that you graduated from the Ohio State University. It's not going to indicate that you started in Worcester. It's not going to indicate that you started anywhere else. The main thing is that we want you to be as successful as possible. So everything that you see on this page is complimentary with your tuition. So we do have a student success services on campus, which encompasses some disability services. It encompasses counseling. And then we also have a really great tutoring and program Excel here at Ohio State ATI. So if you need to utilize them, please utilize them. If you don't need to utilize them, that's okay too. Our learning lab on campus, they focus primarily on math and English. So if you need your English paper proofread, or if you need some extra help getting through a math class, that is primarily what that learning lab is utilized for. And on the flip side, if you're really good at math or you're really good at English, that's an opportunity for you to actually get a job on campus, helping your fellow peers get through some of those harder classes. So it's definitely something that is very student-friendly, student-oriented, and it is a really nice atmosphere just to get some of your homework done. In addition, we also have a library and computer labs where you can go to work on your homework, because I know that the apartments that you are living in, sometimes you might want to get out and get into a different space to study with different people, or maybe you just need a quieter atmosphere or just something different. So we do offer a lot of different areas on campus for you to complete all of your schoolwork.
So let's just talk a little bit about what the costs are that is associated with coming to Ohio State ATI. I'm sure many of you are concerned about how you're going to pay for college or have questions about scholarships and financial aid. So now is the time for us to address that. So tuition at Ohio State ATI, you're looking right under that $8,000 mark. And then as far as the housing costs, it's just a tick over $7,000. We talked a little bit about the Carmen 1 and Carmen 2 options. So there's two different types of meal plans. That Carmen 1 is $874, while that Carmen 2 is that $1,700. So basically, you know, are you going to eat one time a day on campus or twice a day on campus? The nice thing about that is it will follow you as long as you're living in campus housing. So if you don't use all of your meal plan, you can utilize it the next semester, the next year, while you're living in campus housing. Ohio State does require all students to have health insurance. So if you don't have health insurance, you do have the option to get that through the university. But if you have it with your parents, you're gonna waive that, so you wouldn't have that cost. But if you have to purchase it, it's right there, right around $3,300 for that. But if you have it, you'll waive it, and that will happen in the summer before you're coming to Ohio State ATI. Another component of going to college is obviously paying for the books associated with your classes. And the average book cost on the Worcester campus is right around $1,000. So you can work with the bookstore. Sometimes your teachers will have different links that you'll have to purchase through your iPad, but those are some of the costs that you would have associated with the campus. Something else that's really nice to point out is that you're saving some money by starting here at ATI. So there's about a $3,000 savings by being on the Worcester campus rather than the Columbus campus. And so over the course of those 2 years in tuition and fees, you're gonna save approximately $6,000 if you stay there for the 2 years. So that's a significant amount of money that you can save by being a student at ATI for that time, okay? Any questions about the cost breakdown or anything? All right, we'll move on to the different financial aid and scholarship opportunities. So when you're obviously going to start paying for college, you're gonna wanna start thinking about the long-term as far as student loans, grants, work study options that we have here on the Worcester campus. So the FAFSA, which is that free application for federal student aid, that'll come open here in October for students that are going to be seniors this coming school year. If you're currently a student who is coming to ATI maybe in the fall, you'll want to make sure that you fill that out and you get your award summary. But the FAFSA, that's how you get consideration for the different types of loans, grants, and work study on our campus. So you'll want to make sure that you fill that out starting in October, and the deadline is February 1st. So by February 1st, we want to have all your FAFSA submitted so that the university can start processing your financial aid award summary so that you can be notified around mid to late March of what type of loans, grants, and work study that you'll receive. In addition to filling out the FAFSA, while you're at it, you might as well fill out the scholarship application. That becomes open in November 1st. And that will be due by February 15th for the Ohio State ATI scholarship. So we have our own scholarship through the College of Agriculture. And there's about 65 different scholarships that you can fill out with one application. So you'll want to make sure that you fill out that scholarship. So some of the scholarships will be about 4-H or what your involvement has been academically, maybe what your major is going to be at Ohio State ATI. So there's different scholarships for different criteria, but make sure that you fill out that scholarship opportunity, okay? And I'll reiterate this as many times as possible. Scholarships are so crucial. So applying for the ATI scholarship, but also be looking for scholarships in your communities through 4-H, FFA. Applying for as much of that will help you in the long term, okay? The other thing that I want to talk about is student employment on our campus. So work study, that's a separate thing that you can get a job with federal aid, but we also have jobs that anybody can apply for as well. So if you want to have a student job, you can apply for jobs in our office as an admissions ambassador. There's jobs in the library, there's jobs in Cafe Carmen, the Student Activity Center. There's jobs at the farms, at OARDC, you can have a job. So there's lots of opportunity for you to have a job while being a student on our campus. And so that'll give you a little bit of spending money or help you, pay for your tuition or room and board on our campus. A couple other things that I want to point out, Ohio State freezes your tuition when you're a student. So that first year that you come to Ohio State ATI, your tuition will be locked in at that price for the time that you're at Ohio State ATI. Something that I want to clarify, when you do go to Columbus, your tuition will increase to the Columbus rate. So while you're at ATI, your tuition will be frozen. And then once you get to Columbus, your tuition will go to the Columbus rate and then be frozen at that rate while you're in Columbus. We also have the President Affordability Grant. So there's a grant that you can receive for low to middle income eligible students. And then we also have the Buckeye Opportunity Program, which is for Pell Grant eligible students. And that's just a gap grant that helps cover the cost of your tuition if you are eligible for a Pell Grant. So there's a lot of opportunities to help students be able to afford to, come to Ohio State ATI through the FAFSA, through the scholarships, and just the supplemental things that Ohio State is doing to make sure that students have that affordability piece. We do have a question that has come in. Do I have to be committed to ATI to get a scholarship? So no, you can apply to ATI and then you can also, fill out the scholarship and you can see what type of scholarship that you receive before paying your acceptance fee. Your acceptance fee will be due in May, by May 1. But as far as getting the scholarship, you have to come to ATI to actually receive that scholarship. So that's an internal scholarship that you would be receiving. Okay. Any other questions about scholarships, financial aid? All right.
Okay, so do me a favor. I know I've been asking you to type in a lot of things in the chat, but so maybe how about we do this? So raise your hand if you are a current high school senior.
We got 1, 2.
2. All right, cool. So I've got 2 seniors. And how many juniors do I have? 2. Awesome sauce. And then, 3. Just kidding. Junior in high school is my favorite, so you guys live it up. So the reason why I asked that is because it's first and foremost, it is not too late to apply to come to Ohio State ATI if you are a senior in high school and want to join us this fall. So our application is still live. You are still able to fill that out and join us. You have not missed any of the deadlines yet. So please keep that in mind. For those of you who are juniors, or maybe I forgot to ask if any of you were freshmen or sophomores, it's the deadline to apply, or when the application will actually open up, is in August. And I know that that probably seems like a really long time from now, but August is just 4 short months away. So in 4 months, you will be able to apply to be a college student. which I know is kind of crazy, but this is the perfect time to kind of get your wheels spinning and figure out what schools are going to be the right fit for you. For those of you who do live in the state of Ohio, we are open admission. So what that means is as long as you graduate from an Ohio high school and live in the state of Ohio, you will automatically be accepted to Ohio State ATI. And then as we have been mentioning throughout this presentation, you can transition then to the Columbus campus, and all you would need to do is complete a minimum of 30 credit hours here at Ohio State ATI in order to get to the Columbus campus. For those of you who do not live in the state of Ohio or are homeschooled, there are a couple of additional stipulations for you to be directly admitted to Ohio State ATI. And we can talk about that separately off of this presentation. So if you do have further questions, please put in the chat box and I'll get your email address and phone number and we can chat a little bit later. For those of you who might be transferring from a separate institution, we are asking that you have a 2.0 cumulative GPA in order to get accepted to Ohio State ATI. So does anybody have any questions about any of that? ACT score. So there's a question about an ACT score. And simply, I want you to take the ACT or take the SAT. I'm not looking for a specific score for you to be accepted. Now, what I use the ACT and SAT scores for are, it'll come into play for orientation, for your placement into a math and an English. And then it also comes into play for different scholarships, but it is not a requirement and we're not looking for a specific score for you to be directly admitted to Ohio State ATI. Good question. So to apply, it does cost $60 and you do everything online. So you can go to apply.osu.edu. And there are 3 things that I need in order for us to actually review your application. So number 1 is that $60 application fee. Number 2, I need your official transcripts from your high school. And then number 3, I just simply need that application complete. So once you have all 3 of those in, then we will start to review your application and get you admitted to Ohio State ATI. And again, on here, it talks a little bit more about that ACT and SAT. And when you are taking that, you can send your scores directly to Ohio State. It's not going to say Ohio State ATI on your ACT or SAT form. It's just going to say the Ohio State University. So make sure to pay attention to that when you are submitting them. Now, once you are accepted to, or once you are admitted to Ohio State ATI, you can pay a $100 acceptance fee, and that essentially is going to hold your spot at Ohio State ATI. So for those of you who are seniors, if you have already applied and you've gone through that process, the next part would be to pay that fee. And then after that happens, you will get an email to register for orientation. And you will also get an email to complete a housing contract to live with us here in Worcester.
So just to kind of start wrapping up our admissions overview, just a couple fun things to point out. Ohio State ATI here, you can get a degree in as little as 2 years. You're gonna have a lot of hands-on opportunities and industry connections. I think that's a really cool component too, is that our faculty are immersed into the industries that they're involved in. So there's a lot of opportunity to get industry connections. I know like the business program, the ag business program, they go out to a lot of the local Wayne County businesses like Certified Angus Beef, which is in Wayne County, or they go to Smucker's or DZ Sour Cream so that they can start exposing students to those hands-on and to that industry that they're pursuing. And the same with like the different programs. A lot of them are going to industry related events. So some of them might be traveling to like a turf grass conference or a landscape conference. So they're really trying to get you involved in the industry so that you can start networking and start meeting people so you can eventually get an internship or maybe land a full-time job. The other really cool thing about the community is the supportive campus community that we have on our campus. And so, you know, I started here as a student on this campus, and then I came after I graduated from college, started working as a student. And the really cool thing about that, or sort of really cool thing about coming here and working, was that a lot of the faculty and staff remembered me as a student. And if I was on a larger campus, that probably wouldn't have been the case. But the people really do care about you, and they want you to be successful. So you can get involved in the community, get involved in clubs, start networking with the people within the campus. And like I said previously, there is a cost savings by being on the Worcester campus. You're looking at saving $3,000 over the course of the year. And then obviously something really cool about being a Buckeye is the community of Ohio State. So there's 500,000 living alumni. You do have access to the football tickets, and you can be involved on some of the events in the college, especially on the Columbus campus. So you can be involved within the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences, and start networking with people on the Columbus campus. I know a lot of the different departments. So ACEL is a department, for example, if you're interested in like AgCom, that'll become a very familiar term, but they allow students to come down to Columbus from Worcester to start meeting with faculty and staff within the ACEL department. And get to tour campus. So we have times where our students are going to Columbus to start getting familiar with that campus. And so you are a part of the Ohio State community by being on the Worcester campus. Yeah. And thank you guys so much for joining us. I really enjoyed having you all here. I'm really excited that you're interested in Ohio State ATI. And I just want to reiterate that we are here for you. Even though we're not physically on our campus currently, we are all working hard from our homes to help service our students and students who are interested in Ohio State ATI. So feel free to contact us either by phone or email, or visit our website so that you can find the specific person who you would fall under for your admissions process. So by the territories, you can find all of our contact information. So please reach out. We are here for you 100%.
Does anybody have any questions for us before we get off of this meeting though?
And if you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to fill out that survey and put your information in there so that you can be entered in to win some of that Buckeye swag from our campus.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. Enjoy your weekend and go Bucks.
No,
Just kidding.
One more time.
Yeah, we'll get that for you.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Liz?
Yep.
Sounds good.
So just copy and paste this OSU Qualtrics survey, and that will take you to the student information request, and that will get you, basically it will just give us information about what school you go to, your first and last name, what year you are in your school, as well as filling out the majors and putting information about what programs that you would be interested in. And then what we'll do is we'll take that information, plug it into our stuff, and we'll send you stuff in the mail about the different majors so that you can get specific information. So if you are interested in the pre-vet pathway, we're going to send you information in the mail about either the animal science, animal health specialization, or the pre-vet path through biochemical science. So we'll send you the info sheets for those programs. So we have info sheets for every single program on our campus, but we want to get that information out to you. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and fill that out, and we'll definitely send you some information in the mail. And that's also how you get entered in to win the free swag.
Everybody loves free swag.
All right. All right. For some reason, can't get that to work. Terry, if you wanted to, you could just throw your email address in there, and I'll send you a personal email from my email and with the link. Okay.
And if you don't feel comfortable doing it to all of the panelists, Terry, you can click and you can send it just to Elizabeth or myself.
Awesome. We will send you an email with this link then.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Well, have a good day.